book can take you anywhere. Turn the pages and you'll be there. Come on, join us, you'll see. We're reading with Carylee.
Hi, friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Read with Carylee. Yes, I am so glad to have you here for another Saturday to meet another amazing author. So, before we meet our next author, I need you to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you do not miss anything that we have coming to you. So, today we have the author, Brian Harris, Brian Keith Harris II, and he is the author of I Am My History. Now, this is a very important book, especially for our young children of color and our young Black boys as well. So, Brian, come on in the frame and can you tell us where you are reading to us from today?
Yes, hello, Carylee. This is Brian Keith Harris II, and I am coming from Maryland, DC, Maryland, Virginia, in the house. So it's happy Saturday, and excited to be here with you.
Oh, well, you know what? You're just right up the road from me. I'm right
Yep.
here in Virginia. So,
Hit the road.
yes, we are so glad to have so many authors, especially in the DMV area. And I really want to find out. Well, I've already read the book, but I want my friends to find out more about this book.
Yes.
And we're going to get into the backstory in a little bit.
Good.
Until then, Brian, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can dive right into this book. Take it away.
All right. So this is I Am My History by Brian Keith Harris, illustrated by CJ Love. I am my history, walking tall, standing in royalty. I am a direct descendant of kings and queens who ruled with grace, wisdom, and dignity. I am my history, a designer, a thinker, a being of creativity. I built the pyramids of Egypt with my strength and agility. I mastered math and science so brilliantly. I am my history, a child of the diaspora, a survivor of slavery. For 400 years, I fought to be free. Escaping the hands of hatred and captivity, I am a powerful source of peace. I am a brave, beautiful light. I am essential to the earth. I am the glimmering hope in the darkness of night. I am my history. The injustices of the world didn't stop me. I overcame obstacles and beat adversity. I stood up like Martin, Rosa, and Jackie. I am a vision of my ancestors. I am a symbol of love. I am a star in the galaxy. I am a gift from above. I am my history, walking tall, standing in royalty. I will continue with this legacy, knowing that nothing can stop me. The end.
With Carylee.
And that was, and I can see that you know this book cover to cover. And that was a very, it's almost like just a powerful poem
Yes.
for our children. And I love the way that you mixed in, or that your illustrator mixed in, kind of present day children with the history.
That's right.
And I could you let us know a little bit more about why you wrote this book?
Yes, absolutely. So I wrote this book because I wanted our children to really recognize, to embrace, and to celebrate the rich history and cultural legacy. Oftentimes children of color do not have an opportunity to see themselves and their history reflected in books or curriculum in school. And I wanted them to recognize the connection between themselves and our ancestors who paved the way. And so that's why you see those images of present day and our historical figures in our history, because I wanted children to recognize that they're connected to the same people that we often talk about and share over the year, and
Mhm.
and highlight all of their amazing contributions and the ways in which they have transformed the lives of people in this country and in the world. And
Yes.
so wanted to make sure that our children understood their connection, and wanted to make sure that they had access to receiving or to recognizing some of those characteristics that our ancestors possessed that our children currently possess. And so
Yes.
the tenacity and courage of Harriet Tubman, or the creativity of the ancient Egypt pharaohs, or even the wealth of knowledge of the West African emperors. I wanted our children to make those connections to our history and culture.
And that's amazing. And, even though, and it says right here in the title, I am my history.
That's
And a
right.
lot of people would say, well, then why didn't you bring this book for Black history? And one of the things that I want to continue to promote is, Black history is American history,
That's
and
right.
it's not just 1 month.
That's
you
right.
know.
That's
So
right.
I am so glad that we were able to bring this book and bring have you here with us
Yeah.
to be able to talk more about and really empower our children to want to know more about their history, not just in February.
That's right. It's so important that our children recognize and see their history throughout the year, because that's the only way that they can really understand the power and the richness of their history, right?
Yes.
If we're not teaching our children their history throughout the year, and if we're only teaching a portion of our history,
Mhm.
oftentimes history for Black Americans begins at 1619, when our African ancestors were enslaved. And the danger of starting our history there is that our
Mhm.
children begin to see themselves through the lenses of enslavement and not the lenses of empowerment. And so I
Yes.
wanted to bring those elements of kings and queens in the book so that children understood that they had a history and we have a history that supersedes being enslaved.
Uh-huh.
That we are the creators of some of the oldest civilizations that our world has ever experienced. And so wanted to bring that element inside and making sure that children recognize their history um, beyond this month, February.
Yes, absolutely. And I know you are an educator.
Yes, yes.
So, what do your students think, about this book? Their principal is an author as well. What do they
So
think
so
about that?
it's so funny, Carly. So I read my book the first time. So many of our boys, I work at an all boys kindergarten through fifth grade school in Washington D.C. And many of our boys, their parents have purchased I Am My History since the book came out, so in August. But this past Monday, February 1st, was the first time that I read the book out loud to all of our whole school, kindergarten through fifth grade. And
Wow.
I read the book, and I was, looking at the boys' faces, and they were so excited. And as soon as I was done reading the book, and we teach our kids like to keep your cameras off, or keep your cameras on, turn your microphones off, don't turn them off unless we ask you a question or unless it's a time for you to turn them off. But this kid just could not hold it. He turned that microphone off and he said, "Wait a minute, you wrote that book?" And I said, "Yes, yes, yes. Reverend Harris wrote that book." And they were like, "Oh my goodness." And I think what it did for them was it took the book to a whole nother place for them. That not only
Yes.
was this book powerful, the words were powerful and the illustrations were engaging, but to know that the person that we interface with on a daily basis
Mhm.
wrote the book, it just kind of took them to a whole nother place. So it's been so great to share this book with them. And so now some of them are asking, are you going to write another book? Like, when's your next book coming out? And so that's really a joy that our boys have an opportunity to have an author. Even the head of my school is also an author. And
Okay.
so it's great. Our boys get a chance to really be engaged with authors that they interface with on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's exciting. And that's the main mission of Read with Carylee.
That's right.
We want to put a face to the author. I remember when I was growing up, I was always the inquisitive child that
Yes.
wanted to know who wrote this book. you
Yes. Yes.
know and I say sometimes that was the only disappointing thing for me with reading Rainbow, is that I found out that the people that were reading the book weren't the authors.
That's right.
So I want to make sure that we can put a face to the book and to the name that is on the cover.
That's right.
We have Brian Keith Harris II here, and he is I Am My History. So before we wrap this up, what book um, inspired you when you were growing up?
Yeah, so the book that inspired me the most, I could probably see my mom smiling if she were in the audience somewhere. But the book that inspired me the most is entitled "Whistle for Willie," and that book is written by Ezra Jack Keats. And actually, Ezra Jack Keats has a book award named after him, and it's
Oh,
an amazing book award. But I love that children's book so much. It's about a little boy named Willie, who could not whistle, right?
mm,
And he was trying to find his dog. And he and his dog are like playing this little like game where like he's looking for the dog, but he can't really whistle. And then he learns how to whistle. I think the thing that I love the most, you're gonna laugh. Two things that I love the most. I loved Willie's outfit. He had on a pair of blue shorts, blue shoes, pink socks, and a pink and white t-shirt that I just thought was so cool as a little kid. And at the
wow.
very end of the story, Willie puts on, or in the middle of the story, Willie puts on his father's fedora hat.
Mhm.
And that started my love for hats. I don't know if people will follow me or have followed me on social media, but I love, love, love hats, and you will
Uh-huh.
see that. And today I said, I'll just decide to keep the hat off for today. But I think Whistle for Willie just really was an inspiring book. I loved the illustrations. I loved it so much. And at one point, I actually memorized like all the words in the book. Um,
Wow.
and I share that with my students because it's important to sometimes connect with a book that can kind of, inspire you, not just to become a writer or become an
Mhm.
illustrator, but just kind of inspire you in life. Here it is, a book of a little boy that had a fedora on his head that I
Mhm.
read when I was, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years old. And to this day, I love fedoras, right?
Wow.
To this day, I remember those images and those illustrations and really wanted my book to embody some of the inspiration that I received from that book. So that's
Mhm.
the book, Whistle for Willie.
That's amazing. And that really shows the importance of why it is, that we have children's books that have children that look, well,
That's,
characters that look like the children who were reading them.
that's right.
Because of course you saw that and you took a sense of, oh yeah, I like fedoras now and I like his outfit.
Yeah.
And of course this was, a book about a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what, children gravitate to. They gravitate to books that have something that interests them or looks like them.
That's right.
And that's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know I Am My History is such an important book for young boys. And, you know, this is a strong picture right here. I just want to just show this again. And like, this is a strong picture of a boy of today. You know, he has the designs in his hair, he has the AirPod in his ear. So this is something that, you know, little boys, and I will say, when this book came in the mail, my sons automatically grabbed it.
Yeah, because it looks
And they're
like
like,
him, right?
exactly.
And I want
So
that instant connection. I wanted, you know, boys and even girls to make that instant
mhm,
connection. So if you're a little girl and you have this book, you may not see yourself on the cover, but you're like,
mhm.
oh, my brother looks
Yeah,
like
there are little girls in there, you
exactly.
know, so
Yeah.
they have
So
that.
I wanted to do that. And also it's funny because the little boy has, you know, a dope haircut. He has earpods in his ear. But if you notice, he's actually a statue because I wanted to, in some sort of way, connect again the present and the past.
Oh
So
yes.
that's why we have the cover like that.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, Brian Keith Harris the second, thank you so much for joining us for the show. This has definitely been inspirational. And friends, I hope that you've been inspired by this book as well. So if you would like to, you know, say bye to our friends at home, I'm gonna just give it over to you for a sec.
All right, bye everybody. Hope that you guys are inspired by the book I Am My History, and I hope that you will make sure that your children are reading books of people and experiences that look like them and share their experiences. And thank you so much for inviting me. This has been an extraordinary time, and I'm truly grateful.
All right. Thanks again. And friends, you can check us out next Saturday for another Read with Carolee, where we'll have another amazing author from, you may not know where, from around the world, from across the country, and maybe just down your street. So be sure to tune in next Saturday and hit subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a thing. Have a great day, and always remember to grab a book and read.
Carylee.
Thanks for watching another amazing episode of the Read with Carylee Show. We have amazing authors coming by every week. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. You don't want to miss a thing.